Everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out Be a Flower by Ryokuoushoku Shakai. Okay, so this is a song I've been meaning to check out for a little while, at least this version of it. We're going to be doing the first take. This is the, I believe, the first opening for the Apothecary Diaries, which we did do a reaction series to, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this song is being performed live, to see all the different elements and what all is involved. As far as I understand, this is a 4-piece band. That's definitely something I can relate to and see. I love to see what everybody does and be observant of their technique, especially the instrument players, being that I am one as well. But before we do, feel free to check out my YouTube memberships. They're only $1 and you get early access to videos like these and also some of my anime reactions too.
Hmm. 何度もこのファーストテイク出演させてもらってるんですけど、また新たな表現の場を与えてもらえることがすごく嬉しいです。みんな聞こえてますか？はい、では楽しんでやりましょう。よろしくお願いします。隠れようがいいんじゃない。つぼみのような花だってあんじゃない。
This is bringing me back to the early episodes in season 1.
誰にも邪魔されず華麗に咲いてる。甘い苦いにはまんない。その判断がくだんない。気に病んで下を向かないでいて。された花瓶も肥やしも何もいらない。その姿が美しい。
Comes my favorite part.
花になって俺に生きる笑ってその顔にゾクゾクして目が離せない味見して君の毒を私の薬で包んでやるから笑って
I love how much the lyrics fit into the show, the theme of the show too. I really love the tone on the bass guitar. I didn't realize how many things were happening during this song. bass player is having a blast. Wow, that was a very tight performance. Okay, so I'm actually like a little bit surprised there was so much going on during that song. Maybe I'm not too sure what I was expecting, but I was not expecting the two other instruments being involved either. Though it's been a while since I've heard the song because some time has passed since we've done Apothecary Diaries. But yeah, I remember really loving the chorus, especially the way we go into the chorus with the vocalist. It's just very catchy the way she sings that. And I'm kind of glad there's a little bit of like a rock element to it as well. I was able to kind of relate to that in a way. And love the bass tone, the string textures that are on the bass. I really enjoy bass when they actually attack the strings via a pick, or at least using that technique like a pick. Not every bass player uses a pick, but what tends to happen then is you create vibrations in the strings to where you can get a little bit of almost kind of like a growl with the bass textures. You get heavier string textures with the bass, essentially. It's almost like a natural distortion that you add, if you will. I think with this performance, definitely you can listen to it multiple different times, and since there's so much stuff going on, you can really pull apart the performance each time with each listen, because the piano player, like, I didn't realize so much was going on there too, which I realized there was some piano there, and I just thought, if anything, okay, they're going through their chord progressions throughout, verse, chorus. But every time they would cut to her, she was just playing a whole lot of different melodies going along with the song, and she was just not stopping. She was just constantly going, and so it was really impressive. All of these players come across to me as session players, hired guns, if you will, and they're just very technique driven. And though the bass player looked like he was probably having the most fun out of all of them, and the vocalist, I'm not sure what her name is, but she had certain areas in the song in which she had to utilize certain breathing techniques, but utilize those breathing techniques to get a certain sound out of it. So there was a part in there where she was taking a lot of different breaths in there, and I immediately thought, I was like, wow, if I did that during a performance, I would probably hyperventilate, and I would probably pass out midway through. And by the end of the song, I did notice that she kind of stood there holding her chest, and probably by the time she gets through a whole song and really gives it her all, it probably would get you pretty winded. So and yeah, I believe it, especially when she's utilizing breathing techniques in the middle of the song that require her to breathe in constantly and and have a lot of air intake. But I definitely want to go back through the song and see if there's anything else I can pick out here. So like right here. That just makes me lightheaded just watching that. We're gonna jump around here a little bit. And this bass tone here, love the way that sounds. And he is utilizing a picking technique.
じゃない秘密にして守るのがいいんじゃない
See, and you can create those bass textures, those bass string textures, by just simply using a pick. And it's just because of the way that they're attacking the strings and just the amount of vibration that's happening. It's just a natural occurrence that happens with strings and with the string tension with bass strings like that. So it's just kind of a natural thing. Like you can look at many different bass players that utilize the same technique, and if you just listen to the way those strings rattle, it's pretty much universal across all bass players that utilize that kind of technique. But it's something I really love. Something that I did just notice was that while in the very beginning, when they were doing the chord progression with the palm muting, that's something that's very much up my alley. Just as a writer, that sounds like something that I would love to play. But right after getting out of that, I realized that that's the only time that they really play that. There's a couple similar progressions that they do that's similar to that, but they don't ever do exactly that ever again. And if that was me writing this song, I would have probably played that 1 to 2 more times later on, just because it's a cool progression and I would want to revisit that and do it again. You know, that would have been a really good use for like a verse, you know, go through your verse and then, you know, chorus, bridge, whatever, come back to this verse and then you can sing over that just fine. And then I think that would have worked just fine. But these guys were probably like, no, we just did that. We don't have to go back and we're just going to try a bunch of new things. So their song progresses into much more complex melodies and they go into different places. And so definitely more creative than what I would have ever done. So my inferiority complex is kicking in and is telling me, it's like, oh, they're just better. This is why they get paid the big bucks. But yeah, this is pretty awesome. Actually, I have a better memory of the second opening of Apothecary Diary, so it was really fun to jump back into this one and kind of get a nice reminder right here on the spot. And it was cool to see the bridge or hear the bridge area, because I've never gotten to hear that before. So it was neat to check out where they went. It's usually with Japanese songs, bridges tend to go into very different directions, whereas most of the ones we hear in America tend to have a little bit of relation to the rest of the song, if not something a bit more in line with what has already progressed. But Japanese bridges tend to go into like very like bizarre places, and but in a good way too. Like it's like, whoa, I would have never thought of that. It's just so interesting where the differences are in which we take music. But yeah, this was awesome. I would very much like to hear more from this band, if at all possible. So feel free to let me know if there's any other recommendations you have for this band. I would love to check it out. But yeah, guys, this was really great. I really had a great time listening to this one. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. But that's it for me, and I'll see you next time.